Hi, just a quick update. The lights, as you can see, are now working, permanently switched on. The cabling I've not done very much with other than just take out the connector block that you needed. I'll show you that shortly. In fact, I can probably show you now. If you have a look here, we have top transformer, that's what we're working on now, cable. This here is the bridge rectifier that I've had to wire up. The control box, which, where is it, was one of these here, I've taken out. These are AC controlled. The output is DC obviously because these are LEDs, so to take this control box off, I've had to build a little bridge rectifier just using 4 diodes there just to control the AC output to DC. Approximately 20 volts, so nice and simple, straight out. You've got all this wire, which obviously I think you need. Terminated it properly for you. Those connector blocks you did weren't really adequate, so we've done a nice and neat job there going to these lights. I've had these on for approximately half an hour and they're working fine, so job's a good one. I'm just going to start your second batch of lights. Exactly the same procedure. You need to build a bridge rectifier and I'll show you in a second how that's done. So the first thing I've done is to, with the second batch, is just to take off first of all this control box. That we don't need. Nothing in there that's useful to us at all. This is the cable that went into your power transformer connector block. Then the cable I've terminated onto the LED strip here. As you can see, if I bring this a bit closer to the camera, we've used a bit of heat shrink cable on this, so it's fully waterproof, a very good secure tight connection, very strong. That's going to last you outside in all weathers. The next part of the operation is to sort out the power side. Now what I'm going to do, again with the first set of lights I've had to use a bridge rectifier. I'm going to build another one of those and take this connector block out and basically put the bridge rectifier in that place. Bridge rectifier, very simple, it's just 4 diodes. So I'll show you now how we're going to do that. So first of all, let's get rid of this connector block here. We're going to start all junctions, all connections, we're going to start off and fresh. Okay, we're going to leave a little bit on there, that one we can throw away. To strip this down, straight down the centre, the flex. And you can tear the last bit. Just do this. Cut that off. Cut that off. Straight down the centre. Now, although it's AC, you still have a live and a neutral, because it's only the live that alternates. The neutral is what it is. It's neutral, so that doesn't change. So we'll have to work out the polarity, but we'll sort that out afterwards. The main thing I want to do is to terminate these cables, get them tinned, ready, and it will make it a lot easier once we've got the rectifier built. We can then just test as we go along and make sure things are on. Okay, right. Now then, is my cord going to be long enough for the soldering iron? Just about. I don't normally work on this part of the work surface, it's normally the one behind me, but because of the camera location, we're going to use this one. So anyway, we're tinning this wire. Tin that. And that one. Tin that. And the final power cable as well. Wonderful. Trim it off, make it nice and neat. You don't need too much cable to solder, just a small amount. Now it's time for the bridge rectifier. The bridge rectifier is very simple. You just need 4 diodes. Okay, take off the tape on the ends. And the way they work is they allow current to go in one way, but not the other. So what we're doing, we're taking the AC voltage and we're basically going to split it into two, and we're going to make sure that as it's flowing and as it's alternating, we're grabbing the positive waveform from each side. So we've always got a constant current. So the way we do that, I'm going to twist these together like so. Now normally when you're doing soldering such as this, you don't want to get the components that you're soldering too hot, because what it can actually do is to burn out your components. So what you'd normally do, you'd normally leave these legs here sort of as long as possible, but because I've got a temperature controlled soldering iron, I can actually vary the temperature on it and make sure that I'm very quick at soldering iron, very quick at soldering, and don't keep the iron on too long. And that generally means that I can solder close to the components without causing any heat damage. Okay, so we've got 4 diodes, and all I'm doing is twisting these legs and making a square. That is effectively what you see there, a bridge rectifier. So using my magic helping hands, we're going to fasten those in, and I'm going to just tin and prepare the legs ready. Now I'm not going to solder too close to the components. I'm going to heat away and move in with the melted solder. Now I've got this on a fairly low temperature, but it's just hot enough for the solder to melt, like so. Okay, then I'm going to cut away the majority of the legs just to make them neater. Still a bit hot. Okay, which is going to leave us with that. Can you see that there? Right. Okay, first thing, we're going to remount this. Now I'm going to make sure that I get this correct. So these have to be wired in a specific way, and this is the correct way that I've just done. I'm going to need my power supply in a second. Let's get that a bit closer towards us. Okay, heat that up there. Again, we're being careful not to get the LED too hot. Diode too hot, sorry, not the LED. Wonderful. Bit of a blow on that to cool it down. Let's just stretch that open a bit more. And solder that bottom in place. Almost done. I'm stretching this soldering iron out a little bit, it's just making it a bit awkward. Move a bit closer. It always happens this way when you're filming. Okay, wonderful. That's done. So we've got the power. Where's the camera? There we go. The camera's now going in. So if I plug this into the supply, and if I just touch these 2 legs to the lights the correct way, they should come on. Bugger. Okay. Let's try this. Let's try that again. Touch that one on there. Still quite hot. Let's try that on that one. Nothing there. Nothing there. Okay. So obviously when you're testing these out, make sure that the plug is plugged properly into the socket. Okay, and there we go, that's working permanently on. So let's take this off, and then I'm going to solder this on now. Let's just unplug it. There we go. That's on there. And that one on there. Okay, so this now is the bridge rectifier soldered. Got your power going in and your 20 volt DC power coming out to the big bundle of lights. So what we want to do now is to give this sort of protective casing. I haven't got any spare project boxes. I did think about using this case just to put the circuitry in, but to be honest, these are very difficult to open, and when you do, they tend to snap and break, so we just chuck those in the bin. What I'm going to do instead is just to wrap this up in tape. Okay, so with the tape that we've got, move the solder out of the way, don't need that with us anymore. I've lost it, there we go. The first thing we need to do is to make sure we isolate and we insulate all these cables, because we don't want anything touching, don't want any wires touching each other, potentially causing any short circuits, because that wouldn't do. And something else to remember as well, the damp and the moisture, especially in the winter as these are going to be outside, could also cause corrosion. But by wrapping them this way, it's isolating them and it's insulating each cable. So now still being careful because we don't want to squash the diodes together, forcing them to shorten out, but this will now be good, and it is relatively waterproof as well. But the reason I've put the bridge rectifier this end is because it's right by the plug, which is going to be hopefully inside some sort of waterproof container. And there you go, you've got your lights. So now, two sets of lights, permanently illuminated, not flashing, not blinking. There's nothing to do when you plug these in other than plug them in. There's no switches to press, there's no buttons to push and hold to change routines. They're permanently on. What I would suggest you do is to get a remote control 240 volt light switch controller, so you can turn those on remotely. There'll be no need to go outside to these. And that's it, they're done. So hope you're happy with those, and let's see next year if this will work. See you later.